Welcome to the George FTT YouTube channel. Today we'll discuss the AFL trade period for 2025 and its relevance for SuperCoach 2026. So a little bit of content to talk about, or a fair few players to talk about, and I've got my list just to the right of me. So I'll discuss all that. I think I've got 17 players here. Probably 12, 13 I think are potentially viable, but there's also Oliver, Petracca, Lee, Langford, that sort of opens up for him, so stuff like that. So there's other relevance, not just with the player, but the implications for the club. So we'll touch on that. But yeah, a fun listen to Trade Radio this pretty much all day. I reckon I tuned in since probably 8 this morning and tuned out maybe 8 at night. So it's had it on all day. So it was good. Get a few insights here and there. But yeah, the most entertaining trade period we've ever had, and lots of stars moving and. But we'll get into the players individually in just a second. But yeah, I think when Cal said or announced Jack Steele has been traded for a third to Melbourne, I don't know. I'm not sure if upset was the right word, but I was kind of gutted because I wanted to see him do well with the Saints because he's played through injuries like broken collarbones, PCL, MCL, whatever it is. And just been an absolute warrior. So, and for him to just be salary dumped, I guess it sort of had to happen when TDK came in and they ponied up for Flanders and Silvani in terms of money wise. So, had to drop out of Alir. So yeah, that kind of hurt. I hope he goes well at the D's, but yeah, I don't know where the D's are at. Probably rebuilding-ish, resetting. I don't know. That's another story, but yeah. Hopefully still goes well at Melbourne. He's going to be cheap, so we'll touch on him. But the first one we'll talk about is Zach Merrett, not traded to Hawthorn. Bit divisive on this one, I guess, whether it was enough or not, but I don't think I'll pick him next year. $570K, that's the cheapest he's been as a starting pick for a long time. I don't love it. He's just going to get tagged into the ground. How Essendon going to go? I'm not too sure. I mean, they just have so many injury-prone players on the list, which is a worry because, yeah, the chances of all of those guys getting fit through most of the years is pretty slim, even under new fitness stuff. So for me, I think I don't trust Essendon to win enough, and I don't think he's the clear tag target. It's not even bothered. There's no point even thinking about anything else. Maybe Nick Martin, but he's done his ACL. So in terms of tagging, so Merrett for me is a pass. He was in my team. I took him out in my spreadsheet when the deadline dropped and he didn't get traded. So it's a no for me for Merrett. Hopefully he I don't know. In terms of an AFL sense, we'll see what happens. The next player I have here is Christian Petracca, $520K, is going to be a forward. So he's at the Gold Coast Suns now. Pretty crazy to think about that. So they got Tuke Miller, Rao, Anderson. They could play Davies if they want. They could give Humphrey a bit of mid-time. I think he's probably fourth in line for mid, like between third and fifth for mid-clock. Maybe third and fourth, I think, depending on Tuke Miller. Tuke didn't get a whole lot of CBAs for a lot of 2025, so yeah, we'll see what their plans are for him. I think it's one where it's a completely fine starting pick. I wouldn't call him a lock. Priced at 96 is pretty good for Petracca, but I'd like to see the role. And looking at his numbers from this year at Melbourne, he scored fine without CBA. So look, anytime you can get a cheap keeper, like a low 500s, a guy that's, I wouldn't say guaranteed to be top 6 forward, but a really, really good shot at being a top 6 forward, depending on what we got around him. But it's a pretty safe pick, I think. So for me, I don't think he's in my team at the moment. He'll probably make his way in, but yeah, when you can get a cheap keeper, I think that's always one you should think really hard about. So it just enables the team and a player you don't have to trade most likely. So I'm not sure what he averages. Can't see 110, but maybe like low hundreds, high 90s. We'll see. The next player or players, TDK and Rowan, they'll be playing together. Watch them both completely tank their price. One of them gets injured or whatever. grab the other one, put him in flex. So I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Saints seem to think that they said that this has been in the works for 3 years. So they got a plan. Extra on the bench will help them. No relevance for SuperCoach if they're playing together. Certainly at 500k plus for both of them. It's a hard no for both of them when they're playing together. Clayton Oliver will be 500k. He's off to the Giants. I think it's a good pickup as well for them. Very cheap. I'm not sure what they're paying, but probably half of the 1.2, 1.3. It's just hard to trust Oliver. He's carrying on a bit as well, like with Mitch Cleary, and pumping up Jamara as well. And yeah, I don't know. It's just hard to trust him at all. But I think he'll play decent footy. Probably, yeah. I wouldn't be too worried about off field. I think he'll be dedicated on field, and which is all that really matters for SuperCoach right now. So we're in SuperCoach for our game. So we'll see how he goes. But what sort of level is he going to get to? I have no idea. Green, Oliver, and Callahan together, I think it'll be a decent midfield. So having that pressure off Green, I think, will help as well. I'm not interested in Oliver. Don't trust him to get to the heights of what he used to, but you never know. Jack Steele, 520k, so was traded to Melbourne. I think it was Tim Lamb was interviewed after the trade period and said he can, I'm not sure what the word was, maybe pinch or rotate to half back or the wing. I won't be picking Steele. I see Steele for 520k, and obviously Petracca's gone, Oliver's gone. It might be a shout for fantasy. I'm not sure about Melbourne. He's going to have Gawn hitting to him. I think it'll be pretty nice, and probably good for Gawn as well, because he actually has a midfielder, a good first possession winner to hit to, or a proven one anyway. So it's a pass for me. 30 now. I can see a world where he averages well, like 105 plus, but I'm not too sure. And his knee seems to flare up every year at end periods, and he sort of tanks his price. So maybe an upgrade to Target, even though he's 520k, which is, I guess you can call it cheap if you want, but there's definitely a world where he gets cheaper if the knee flares up or something like that. So I'll be passing on Steele for now, but I wish him nothing but the best, and just want to see him play finals and do well. You don't need to go on it better, but yeah, I really would have loved to see him have success at the Saints, because he's probably deserved it more than anyone at that club. Next player we have here is Sam Flanders, who is 400k. Pretty simple. If Sam Flanders' back is good to go, you just pick him. Not really anything to discuss. So hopefully that's all good in preseason. If his back does play up in preseason, he's still going to have the mid role, so he's going to have an improved role in last year. So do you still pick him? Probably. We'll see what happens, but plenty of time to get fit. But now with Steele out, they promised him the role, paid up for him, both 900k and pick 7. Like, you don't give up that much for him to play half forward. He's playing midfield, so he'll be the highest owned player most likely next year, if I had to guess. That's probably the big dogs. So out of the big dogs, I don't mind Petracca as a starting pick, and Flanders will all pick. Otherwise, it's a bunch of probably avoids for me. Now we're getting to a few more obscure ones, which should be good. I just quickly looked up Jamara. He's 250k. I don't think he'll play round 1 personally. I think he'll need to bide his time in the VFL. Plus, they got a few tools and whatnot to try and all squeeze in. So 250k for Jamara. He's averaged 60 plus in the past. Worry about that. Yeah, I just can't see it. Next we have Jiath. So Jiath is set for a role change. He's been traded to Melbourne. I think, reading some comments from Hawk supporters, sounds like a lot of them would have driven him to the airport. Or not airport, driven him to Casey from Box Hill. So I do think he has something to offer at halfback. He's averaged 80 plus there before, and he's priced at 350k. So playing halfback, he will make money. I do wonder if he stays in the best 22 because I've owned him many years ago when he sort of broke out and he did average that 80 plus. And I doubt he'll be on kick-ins, and his ability to defend is poor, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Just a bit like watching Ryan Merrett this year, where when it was his turn to spoil and put his body on the line, he just wouldn't do it. And Jiath, I feel not too sure if like toughness is the issue. It's more just defending in general, like in the air, not strong enough in the air. So just from what I've seen, so for me, he's a no 350k. Could be a sneaky one for fantasy where he makes like 150k in that format or a bit more, but there will be game. He's capable of a ceiling game, so there is upside here. But for me, I'll sit that one out. So Sam Draper has moved to Brisbane, but his Achilles injury was in April, so most likely we don't see him for round one. And less worried about Brisbane side of things, but who's rucking for Essendon right now? So there's two players on the list, I think. One is Blackiston, who played key defender this year, and his manager was on Trade Radio this year and basically said Blackiston has never played key defence in his life. He's always been a ruckman, and he averaged 95, I think, in the VFL last year in the ruck. That's DT. We don't know about SC because SC you get heaps of points for hit us to advantage. So yeah, 290k defender, or is it Vigo Vizentini, who will be between high to mid 200s, depending on the discount, because he didn't play many games this year. So say 250k, I don't know. So there's going to be a number one ruckman in the 200s for Essendon next year. Now, Brian did his ACL, I think it was mid-April, so he might only be out for a month. But we'll get a time on Brian. We'll see who's number one ruck for Essendon, and we'll go from there. We might get a cheap ruckman. And we'll see their progress over pre-season. But yeah, his manager did say about Blackiston that he will get his opportunity in the ruck next year. So one to put on the watch list. Judd McVee, so commentary on McVee. So he's priced at 57. He's done 70 in the past. I can't remember who said it. Someone did that. He wants to be a bit more freed up, less lockdown, more run and carry. Obviously, it's well documented. Fremantle and their issues with the ball movement out of defence. They go too slow. They go fast. They look good. They go slow. They, don't play as well. Doesn't look as attractive. So, and I think that's a lot personnel based as well. When you got Ryan and Cox don't really take the game on. It's only really Geordie Clark back there and old Cooper Simpson, who may have lost his spot now to McVee, who was in the team before he got injured. So I guess we'll see what happens. So 300k, a little bit too expensive for a guy that isn't going to be the prime distributor back there. I mean, one that will make money, and it's interesting if you want to go like full-blown mid-prices where you've got players in decent roles that will make money, but are they going to make enough money to justify picking them? So McVee, not really an accumulator in juniors, but did have a few 20-plus disposal games in the VFL and at AFL level. So he's one, I guess, it's sort of like a light watch for McVee. And it sounds like, there's upside here because they want to free him up. The next one is J.Serong, averaged in the 90s in the VFL, played a bit of wing, and I think he's a tall, but he's not sure he can play on like the Gorillas because he's not 200 centimeters. I think he's like low 190s, but yeah, he can score. Mature ager. I think traded to Sydney. Is there a spot for him back there? We'll see. Hopefully. So he's one where if he's named round one for Sydney, I think we play him on the field because he'll be rookie priced down back. So 119k for J.Serong. He's one for maybe at D6, maybe a D7. But if you can get someone like if he's playing key position, it's not hard to score in key position as a defender because you can just get, say 3 or 4 spoils a game, maybe 1 intercept, few disposals here and there. Like, it's not too difficult to average like 60 in this role, which for 190k, 119, I think, which is priced at around 20 or 22, something like that. Potentially 40 points upside, but yeah, we'll see how we go with J.Serong. He's at my D6 at the moment. Another rookie price player, Brodie to Port. How does this work with Drew and Wines in the same team? I don't know, but maybe Rosie goes half back, which Josh Carr initiated, I believe, in the first place this year. Yeah. 27 touches he averaged all those years ago when he was a main cog in Freo, and I'm not trying to disrespect Nat 5 here, but maybe Brodie regressed in the waffle. But I think Brodie's best in 2022 or 23, whenever it was, is probably better than what Fife has produced the last 2 years. So if Brodie was capable of playing at the level that he used to, I would have been playing Brodie instead, personally, but that's just my opinion. So look, Will Brodie starts round 1, you put him on the field, not on the bench, on the field, because he can score. But we'll see how he goes, see how he looks in preseason, and if they can squeeze him into the 23. But yeah, Josh Carr must like him because he coached him at Freo back then. This one, another rookie for us, Dev Robertson. Looks like the reports are that they will delist him at Brisbane and West Coast will pick him up as a delisted free agent. I think that's how it works, even though he hasn't been in the system for 8 years or whatever, how free agency works, but it's a bit different with delisted players. So hopefully, and yeah, with Dev, it doesn't have to be inside mid. He can play wing, he can play half forward, he can sort of plug holes if he needs to, or if West Coast need him to. So whatever role he's playing, and he's going to be forward eligible, I think we just pick him and probably F6. So someone, I haven't checked his numbers in the past. It's hard because he's been sub and stuff. So regardless, yeah, he's a 100 plus player in the VFL. So we'll definitely pick him and on the field. So Serong, Brodie and Dev, I think I don't mind for on-field rookies. Definitely, all 90 plus, 100 plus in the state league. So I like them for on-field if they're best 22. No sub as well, which is nice. I just put this one down, Oscar Allen 320k. I thought it'd be cheaper because he's had injuries and stuff, but not going there. But if it was 200k, then we'd probably talk, but 320 for him is too expensive. And a few more to go. So Connor Budarick, 245k, and I think it's Sam Powell was saying, or his manager, I can't remember, one of the two, was saying at the Bulldogs, he can play aggressive or like he can play a number of roles down back, and he can provide that drive out of defense, but also lock down on a player. So Budarick's always been looking at junior numbers. He's one that he looks like he can rack it up, but he's never really had that opportunity. And maybe he takes the Bramble role from Bramble at the Dogs, and Bramble scored okay sort of in that role. So 250k. It's sort of, you don't really want to pay up for mid prices that don't have the prime role. Like if he's playing lockdown, like no doubt he played forward, so he's priced in at 45, and I think we've seen him do 65 plus. So there should be at least 20 points of upside, you would think here. So there is a bit of merit to picking this player, but we'll see what happens in preseason. Who's like, if Dale's number one distributor, who's second? I can't remember if they retained Johannesson, if he was delisted, I can't remember, or retired. So that will be one where if he's second, which could potentially happen, as a distributor, he could be one where we look at him. So keep a close eye on him. Because I think there's potential, because he averaged 77 1 year, but it was only 2 games. But we know that like the scoring DNA is in him. It's just we need to see what happens. But yeah, he will play down back rather than forward for the Dogs. So Ollie Florent priced at 60, averaged 79 the year before, 320k. I don't really know what role he's playing for Carlton now. You would think down back they do lack that. I think it's a decent pickup for Carlton, I think, because he's an outside player and they sort of need someone who can move the ball. He's did watch him a little bit this year, and his disposal was pretty underwhelming at times. So I don't know. We'll see what happens at Carlton, but I don't think there's enough upside here. I don't know where he played. I think he played a fair bit down back last year, but he can play wing as well. So what's his true average playing in the back line? Is he even going to play there? Is he going to play wing? Who knows? I think there's too much guesswork here and not enough upside. So he's a pass for me, but sort of like, okay, he's probably underpriced by 20, given what he's done in the past. So maybe we'll just keep an eye on it, but probably no. Jack Buller has gone to Collingwood. I thought it'd be like rookie price because he didn't score much, but he actually averaged 52, so he's not an option. Braden Fiorini actually averaged 95 on a wing this year, 510k. His manager has stated, and Essendon have stated, that he will fill a role on the wing for them. And with Fiorini, it's just, yeah, they're saying now he'll play wing. I'm sure at some point they'll just throw him inside and it might actually stick, the role. So if that does happen. So keep your eye on Fiorini if he tanks his average on the wing, even though he did average quite well there this year. Yeah, just keep an eye out if he moves inside. Could be a good draft pickup or like a cash cow, because we know he can seriously score. Last player I've got here is not really relevant, but James Worpel, who is not relevant. So I don't know why he's on the list. So that's about it. So just to summarize, I think the serious options are Christian Petracca, Sam Flanders for sure, J.Serong, Brodie and Dev, chuck them on field as your rookies, and then keep an eye on a few mid-prices like McVee and Budarick, but the role I don't think is like, it's not going to be a prime distributor role because there's players ahead of them, so like, yeah, they'll make a bit of money, but probably not enough. So I haven't included a few players like Curnow or Finbar Maley, like key position and whatnot. Even though I included Oscar Allen for some reason, but yeah, I think we'll leave it at that, and we'll do a team reveal this week, maybe this weekend, which will be good. I'll put the team together, and I've loaded the defense. It's still sort of early. Then mids, I don't really know who to pick in the midfield. Like Nick Nakos is 620, so probably just start Nick. And then, like, I don't know. Do you go a Gold Coast mid? Do you go Gordon? Do you go Brizzy mid? Butters is off for groin surgery. I don't love that, but we'll monitor that. So, yeah, not too sure. And then forward line, I think will be pretty straightforward. It'll be, well, Rucks, do you pay up? I probably will. And then forwards will be Sheasel as a forward. Sheasel, Flanders, probably those two, lock him in. Brett Daniels as well, we'll touch on him in the video. He's going to be 260k. He's averaged 90 plus in the past, so stuff like that. But yeah, we'll go through that and whatnot. Maybe I'll squeeze Petracca in between now and then. But yeah, anyway, that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys. If you have any other questions on players, leave them in the comments. I can touch on them, but yeah, that's all from me. Thank you for watching, and go Crom.